Oh, hello there, Stack fam. Hook Daddy here. You know, as the fall months approach and curling clubs start to get their ice back in, oh, it's time. It's time to prepare, my friends. And what better way to prepare than making sure you got a good broom head? You don't want no dirty thing like this guy. Not to mention who gave me this one to repair, but what in the world? It's like little hairs everywhere. What's going on with this? I got a solution. I am pretty much the broom head cobbler up in this piece. So I'm going to show you how to do it and do it pretty cheap. Just got to check with your current club and for tournaments and stuff like that if the type of fabric that I recommend is legal for your tournament play. Should be. If not, I'll show you a couple other options. So let's get right into it, all right? First, you're going to need a broom head, okay? And those just come off very easily. You just unscrew, especially on a Balance Plus broom. You just unscrew the two knobs at the top, and then it will dislodge the old broom head. And as you'll notice, when you flip it over, you'll see that there's quite a bit of staples. And you'll see them lining the whole perimeter around the broom head. So what we're going to need to do first is get out those millions of staples. So this is fun. So what I typically do, before I get ready to do this type of work, I get my tools all set up that I know I'm going to need. The most important one is probably a tiny little flathead screwdriver such as this. So you can see this one a little bit. Okay. The next you're going to need is a needle nose plier to get some of those pesky staples out. And then from there, to do the finishing of the work, you're going to need a staple gun. And I just have this pneumatic staple gun. It's the Aero Fastener Company T50P. Not sponsored, but could be. Just saying. And then of course you're going to need to get some staples to go with it as well. These are replacement staples. From there, I have a couple other things here which I'll go into in a little bit more detail. But first things first, you want to make sure that you have fabric to replace the head. You can take it off, you can start to do all the prep work. If you don't have the fabric, that's not a problem. But I would recommend getting some fabric. This is Cordura urethane coated. I think it's coated on one side, so then I have the other side out for the sweeping. That's going to be the side that's going to be facing the ice. Another trick, because I'm all about sustainability, doing things the right way and kind of being able to reuse, repurpose, you can simply take off the head, and in most instances, you could flip it. So here's an old one, as you can see, a little dirty, dingy, but when you flip it, it's brand new, and you get a whole new use out of this side. So that's what I would personally recommend. This way, you know, especially if it's if it's the specific fabric that you know is legal for all tournament play and stuff like that, club tournament play, let's say. We're not talking about nationals, we're not talking about Olympics here, we're talking about club play. Then you know you can kind of be able to reuse it and get at least one more use out of the back here. If you don't want to go that route, you want to start with something fresh, you can use the Cordura. What I've done is I took a flexible cutting board and I took one of the pre-cut broom head piece of fabric and I made my template. Boom. So that when I want to go through and easily make new ones, all I do is slap that bad boy down on some paper, get a nice little permanent marker, and you can see I made my little stencil right there, template. So then all I have to do is really just cut that out and then get going with the refurbishing. So first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to take out all the staples here. So I just get a little flat head and I start to wiggle underneath the staples, and just be careful. You want to get some sort of catchment device here to collect all your staples. You don't want to be stepping on staples on your floor. You don't want your kids, your pets, or anything like that having to deal with that nonsense. Be smart, all right? Use your noggin and get a little device to hold these little staples as you start taking them out. And we'll see how that looks here in 1 second. All right, we're rounding here, we're almost done. I spared you guys having to watch me go through 27 staple removals so far. So I'm just down to the last 2. Again, I just wiggle the top of the flathead right underneath the staple. I always go away from me because I don't want to flick anything in my eye. Nobody wants that. Oh yeah, younger people who are doing this, or even older people, all people, wear eye protection. You know, that's probably wise. I got my little catchment device here to collect all the staples, so we got that all squared away. What I typically do, they're metal staples, so assuming we still recycle in this country, which we don't know for sure, we hope we do, I end up just putting it in like a plastic bottle or something like that at the top, so that it's all safe and it'll just go to wherever final destination. Anyway, we have all the staples out now. So you can see it's all easily coming off. So then you simply just peel off the fabric. And then what you're left with is the frame of the broom head, as well as the piece of foam. And 99% of the time, the foam is still darn good. It's fine, especially for those skips out there. They ain't sweeping, they ain't doing nothing. This is from a skip. So, you know, as you can see, it looks pretty brand new. Anywho, so from here, what we're gonna do, we have the old fabric, still nice and dirty. When you flip it around, it's actually quite nice on the other side. Unfortunately, it looks like this fabric is coated on the other side, so we don't want to use this piece here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use one of the non-coated ones that I have from before. Again, recycling is always wise. And we're going to go ahead and start to put this one onto play. So what I do is I simply just take it and put it back down onto the broom head frame. And I just line it up based on some of the other creases that I see from previous use. And the beautiful thing about it is it's already cut to that specific shape. Again, you can have your template, you can cut new, but again, I'm trying to reuse here. I'm trying to do the right thing. You know, that's the way I live. And then from there, what we do is we flip it back over, make sure that it looks nice and lined up for the most part. I find like a common spot on the fabric. In this instance, it's got the light speed kind of stamp on it. So I try to make sure that the frame is positioned nicely on that fabric, and that when I go to then sort of fold the fabric down and then essentially put the staples in it, it should fit really nice. So from here, I'm gonna kind of clean my area a bit, get some of the stuff out of the way. Love my broom, getting that out of the way, so that I can easily go ahead and start to put in the new staples. This by far is probably one of the more frustrating things. Again, I'm old school, I have a pneumatic staple gun. Some people can have an air compressor and do their thing with that, no problem. I don't hate you. Do what you gotta do, but I use what I have. So I have a pneumatic staple. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start to fold in the fabric so that it contours to the frame of the broom head. And this is where the first few staples are so key, because if you get this part wrong, then you're going to be kind of trying to balance it out for the remainder of the refurbishment here. So I just put the staple gun midway on the backbone, if you will, of the frame here. And then I just kind of have it midway so that I know where the little staple comes out. I'm not going to shoot you. It's usually right in the middle of this top portion here. So I'm just going to line that up with the frame. And boom, just like that. We have our first staple. You can see that right there, right at the top there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to work our way around, and you have to keep in your mind how the fabric looked before, like different ways of how it's been folded in. I try to mimic that exact because that's what works. and I slowly work my way around. This whole thing from soup to nuts should take you about, I don't know, maybe a half hour or so, depending if you have everything all completed, like some of the stencil work, or if you have one of these all ready to go. It should take about a half hour to replace. But if you don't, then that's where you need to spend some time and just take it slow. Because if you mess up, you don't want to shoot your finger. And you don't want to keep pulling out staples that you don't need to. So we'll be back in a minute here. Promise you with a finished producto of how it turned out. Just a quick update. Here's how it's coming along. Gotta kind of keep pulling, putting a staple in, working it out so it doesn't have wrinkles, but this is what the front looks like so far. Pretty darn good. We'll check back. See you soon. Are you guys excited? Guess what? Unveiling time! Yes, yes indeed, ladies and gentlemen. We have finished. I tell you, it's not a horrible process, but it will make you sweat a little bit. You're getting your hands in unique spots where you don't want to shoot off a finger, and all that good stuff, which, if you curl or disc golf, because this is about both things, you need your hands. It's important. So the unveiling, ready? Dun, 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 dun. Look at how beautiful it is. And look how ugly the stapling is. However, you don't see this part. You see this part. And this is all that you need on the ice to keep you playing. Keep you on the ice, having a good old time. That's what it's all about. At the end of the day, you want to have a fun time, but you want to do things methodically, responsibly, if you will. And for all sports that I play, it's important to think about things instead of just saying, I'm going to go spend some money, I'm going to go pay another $25 for a broom head or whatever. But in reality, you might have the tools at home to get a little bit of life out of this guy instead of just throwing it right into the landfill. Because they're not recycling it, unfortunately. Much as I want to believe it, they're probably not. So anyway, hopefully this has been a wonderful how-to to help you get to where you need to be and prep for this new curling season. Until then, Hook Daddy signing out. Be well.